Today we will be looking at something that has been around for a long time, but is still very underused and misunderstood. It is something we use every day, but many people don't consider that it can actually be something that can be used as a security product. The thing we will be discussing in this video is digital signatures, also known as electronic or e-signatures. We will look at them in the South African context, but also make short reference to their applicability in the international arena. So, let's start off with what an electronic signature is in the first place. In South Africa, electronic signatures are governed by the Electronic Communications and Transactions Act of 2002, also called ECTA. We will not be referring to the definitions of the Act, as the aim of this video is to make the concepts easy to understand. So, when we talk about an electronic signature, we are referring to any digitized form of your signature. It can be anything, from a scanned copy of your actual signature to you typing your name at the bottom of a document, and even your email signature is considered to be an electronic signature. Let's take a moment to think about that. ECTA clearly states that electronic signatures are valid for signing most types of documents, which means you can literally enter into a contract by sending a couple of emails wherein you discuss and agree to certain things. And that is why it is so important for us to understand this concept and also to understand how it can be used as a form of security. But before we dive into the subject, let's just discuss why we make use of electronic signatures in the first place. There are a number of reasons why we would use them, the most important one of which is cost and time savings. Just think of this scenario. Let's say you have a document that needs to be signed off. Typically, certain types of documents, like contracts or payment requests, have to be signed off by more than one person. So we end up with a scenario where the first person signs the document. To make sure they cover themselves, they print a copy of the document and then scan the document for themselves and then put it away in a drawer somewhere. Then the document goes to the next person who does the same. And so it goes. In this scenario, you will have a number of people, each with a partially signed copy of a document lying around somewhere. Now, what if that final document gets lost in the internal mail, or one of the parties simply misplaces it? This method just wastes a lot of time and paper. The next scenario is where the document is digital. So now the document is emailed to someone. They now have to print and sign it. They then have to scan the signed document and email it to the next one. By the time the document has been printed and scanned a few times, the final signatory of the document cannot even see the first signature on it anymore. Then the final document is scanned and saved somewhere, and a copy ends up in a filing cabinet. And this happens all the time in all businesses. So, we are taking a document that started its life digitally, making various paper copies, and then we digitize it again at the end. This is just wasteful and counterintuitive. Let's take a contract as our next example. The parties finally agree to the terms, and then one party has to sign the original, then send it to the other party to sign off. This is done by post or courier. Then the next party has to sign the document, and then courier it back to the original party. All this wastes a lot of time and money. But with the world as it currently is, more and more companies are doing business internationally. So now, what about the situation where there are, say, 3 parties to this contract? One in South Africa, one in Botswana, the other in the UK. How long does it now take to get that contract signed and couriered until all parties have signed it? What does it cost? Research shows that it typically takes 3 weeks to a month to get such a contract signed, whereas with digital signing, it takes on average 2 days. One might argue now that we can just agree to all scan, sign, and email the contract. But now we have to include complicated language into our contract to indicate that a copy with an original and 2 or more scanned signatures would still be deemed to be an original. And secondly, how can we prove that the signature appearing on the document is actually the signature of the person who claimed to sign it, especially when the parties are in different countries? Sure, we can add witness signatures, but how do we know that they are who they claim to be? So we can see that with original handwritten signatures, you run into 3 problems, namely cost, time, and legitimacy. Yet, this is the way we have always done business, and yet we still trust this method over electronic forms of signature. Now that we have discussed the disadvantages of signing by hand, let's look at the benefits and types of electronic signatures. We started off by referring to an electronic signature and stated that it is literally any digitized version of your signature that you intend to be bound by. The advantage of such a signature is that you can sign anything quickly and it will be legally binding in most cases. The electronic signature is, however, faced with the same problem as a handwritten signature. In the example on the screen, this is Donald Trump's signature. You can simply Google it and find that there are thousands of examples of his signature online. So now, if you received a letter with Donald Trump's signature at the bottom, did he sign it or not? How will you know? The truth of the matter is that unless you ask him to confirm, you really don't know. And that is the problem with electronic signatures. While they are legally binding, it is difficult to prove or disprove that the person whose signature appears at the bottom of the document actually signed the document. So, when it comes to electronic signatures, it is a matter of convenience over security. While there are many documents that you could comfortably sign with an electronic signature, there are documents that you would not want to risk signing with a signature that can so easily be forged, just like a handwritten signature. This brings us to our second type of signature, what we will call a digital signature, or an electronic signature with added security. So what is a digital signature, and why is it more secure than an electronic signature? The answer is that it can be linked to a person. You see, in order to be issued with a digital signature, you need to be issued with a digital certificate. A digital certificate is a piece of electronic information in the form of a certificate that accompanies the document. To simplify the concept, let's think of a certified diamond. A certified diamond is a diamond that comes with a certificate to confirm its source as well as its cut, color, and clarity. It is essentially a certificate that says this is a real diamond and you can trust it. A digital certificate is similar, but it is embedded in a PDF document. In essence, to be issued with a digital certificate, you have to undergo some form of identity verification. In other words, before a company can issue you with a digital certificate, they have to verify that you are who you claim to be. This usually takes place through verifying a copy of your identity document or some other document proving you are who you claim to be. Only once that has been done can you be issued with a digital certificate. It is also not anyone that can issue you with a digital certificate in the first place. Only organizations that meet very strict criteria against which they are audited are allowed to issue you with a digital certificate. So how does this digital certificate look? Well, when you just look at the document, you will not see the certificate, but what you will see is a bar that appears at the top of the document, which indicates that the document has been digitally signed and that the signature is valid. That is how you can trust a document. You can still put a scanned copy of your signature or type your name into the document, but now it does not matter so much because you can trust the document based on the digital certificate that you apply to the document. When you click on the actual signature and select View Certificate, you will be able to see the actual digital certificate that is associated with the signature and embedded in the document. So now you have a document that is fast, secure, saves paper, saves money, and every version of the document is an original. This solves the time, money, and trust issues we have with electronic and handwritten signatures. So now if someone tried to tamper with the document, you will immediately know, whereas with a printed document it is not always evident on first glance. But just in case this does not provide sufficient comfort, ECTA also recognizes a third type of electronic signature, namely an advanced electronic signature. An advanced electronic signature is exactly the same as a digital signature, except for the fact that the identity verification process had to take place in person. What this means is that you cannot be issued with an advanced electronic signature if you did not have an in-person, face-to-face meeting with a representative of a company that is authorized to issue advanced electronic signatures. This means that the digital certificate that is now attached to the document means that anyone who relies on this document can trust that the document has been signed by a verified individual and there can be no doubt as to this person's identity. Because of this strong verification, ECTA also creates a reverse onus of proof, in that whoever claims that the signature is invalid has to prove it. instead of the person who applied it in the first place. ECTA also provides that where the law requires a signature and does not stipulate what type of signature may be used, if you sign the document digitally, you must make use of an advanced electronic signature. Certain laws, such as the National Credit Act, also requires that credit agreements must be signed with an advanced electronic signature, where the contracts are not signed in the presence of each of the parties. So now you have a digital signature on steroids, and one that provides much more proof of the identity of the signatory than any other form of signature. But you may ask how this helps you. Why do we claim that it is a form of security? Well, let's take something that has been in the news recently, and that is invoice fraud, where fraudsters intercept emails containing invoices and they then change the banking details in the invoice to their own. You then pay the money, not knowing that the invoice has been changed, and the fraudsters walk away with the money, and you still owe your creditor all the money. This leaves you out of pocket. Now, if that invoice was sealed with a digital or advanced electronic signature, the moment the fraudsters try to tamper with the document, it will immediately show that the signature is invalid and that the document cannot be trusted. You will then know to query the banking details or simply not pay the invoice. This can apply to credit notes, doctor scripts, or any document where you need the veracity of the document to be verified. Again, with an advanced electronic signature, you can use any form of signature appearance. So again, you can use your scanned signature, type your name, or even use a smiley face, because the signature is the digital certificate that is attached to the document, and that is what provides the trust. Most international digital signing laws is based on a United Nations model law, which means that many digital signatures are valid internationally, and you can confidently sign documents digitally in South Africa and have them be legal and valid in most countries worldwide. In a world where speed, efficiency, cybercrime, and global pandemics have completely changed the way we do business, a digital signature has become a tool that you simply cannot go without when it comes to speed, efficiency, and security. If you are looking for a digital signature for your business, contact LawTrust and ask us about Signing Hub, our tool to make signing documents digitally easy and secure.